Forming a, Gen AI strategy for a digital agency. Welcome everybody. I'm just going to quickly go through, some of the details of what I'll be covering today. I've only got 30 minutes initially. I thought it was 45, so I'm going to be going pretty quick after doing a little bit of shopping. Just going to give you a bit of an overview of how I see AI is changing digital agencies. We look a bit at the strategic imperative. And then a journey through kind of creating an AI roadmap, discovery processes, touch a little bit on some of the practical elements of implementing change, and then wrap up with some key takeaways. So I think everyone can see the landscape is shifting pretty rapidly. AI is really changing the way that users interact with content. So many users are starting to replace Google with ChatGPT, and even if you look at Google now, you're seeing an AI summary of content just popping right up at the top. How people accessed content online 2 years ago is going to be quite different to how people are accessing content 2 years from now. And so agencies that are harnessing these technologies can deliver a lot more personalised, efficient and innovative experiences. So this context is really essential, I think, for agencies like ours in understanding why an AI strategy isn't just an option, but it's a real competitive necessity. So if you want to survive and actually thrive over the next few years, you really do need to prepare for where the puck is going and not just where the puck is right now today. So let's dive into why AI is relevant. So quite a few years ago, at the very start of the internet boom, an old boss of mine was working in ISP sales, and he met up with this guy who was fully bought into the internet hype, absolutely no idea what he was doing, didn't even know what the internet was, and he was like, "Can I get an internet?" And he was definitely expecting some box or something to turn up, and didn't even know what he was going to do with it, had no idea why he wanted it, but everyone else wanted one, so clearly he had to have one, right? So why am I telling you this? And I see a lot of parallels between this and AI democratisation right now. There's a whole bunch of hype, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of random unstructured activity, people going, "Can I get an AI?" And other people also going, "AI doesn't do anything useful." And I think both of those responses are just on two ends of a spectrum, right? Fully bought into the hype or fully bought into the fear. But then no real idea of what are you doing with it? What problem are you actually going to solve? So jumping on the hype bandwagon, it's not going to do anything for you. Being scared of AI isn't actually going to do anything for you either. You actually need to know, what are you doing with AI, right? How is it going to help your business? What problems are you solving? So whilst I'm saying, AI is right at the peak of the hype cycle. I mean, if you look online at articles, everything is kind of proclaiming things from the heavens, agentic is dead. Agentic is definitely the next thing. If you're not using it now, your business is dead. DeepSeek, just flew to the moon while making an espresso martini. So many articles are just promoting complete nonsense. So if you see headlines like that in an article, most likely it's written by someone who thinks AI was invented in 2022, doesn't really know what it is, it's clickbait, move on. There's lots of really sensible writers out there, and there's stuff that you can read that talks about AI as a sensible tool, but yeah, move on from the clickbait headlines. But saying that, AI isn't just hype, it's not just a fad. And I liken that to the birth of the internet, because it is going to be a really massive change. It's not just a temporary shift. So we can see AI kind of getting integrated into everything right now. So Alexa, Siri, those kind of tools, hopefully they'll actually be useful soon. And something to remember, ChatGPT 3, it was released November 2022. It's just over 2 years ago. So back then, whenever you saw an AI photo or video, had multiple hands and 6 fingers, and the videos would morph into weird creatures and stuff. You can type a single prompt now and get a video of incredible quality that's almost indistinguishable from reality. So things are progressing at an astounding rate. We've got agentic systems now that can operate in fully autonomous mode, doing a whole range of different tasks. multimodal systems that can do voice, text, images are going to be commonplace very soon in many businesses. We are seeing a bit of a plateau. I think a lot of people are following AI in the acceleration of model performance. So lots more parameters going in, but the actual performance improvements aren't really kind of going up like they used to over the last couple of years. But I would say that's most likely to drive a lot of the big business spend away from that kind of hype idea of more and more and more parameters and into actually creating useful tools. And we're seeing that now. So OpenAI's deep research, Manus AI out of China just a week or so ago. And those useful tools are going to be the things that actually increase the drive of that change in how people actually interact with it. So big question I think for everyone is like, are you actually ready to start integrating AI into your business? So, so there's kind of two main things I see for most digital agencies here. So it can actually enable our customers to deliver a lot more personalised experiences using natural language. Will it be perfect and will it be right all the time? No, it's not always going to be right. I think there's a lot of evidence around the world right now in some very big places that people tend to care more about fast and confident than right. So we are going to see that kind of change in how people are interacting with content. The really important thing for us, I think, is like we build websites, right? So that change in the way that people create and write and manage content is going to have a really major effect on our businesses. A second advantage here is really the operational efficiency inside your business. So for code generation, business analysis, testing, there's all areas of tech that are really sped up considerably by AI if you're using it well. But not just in the tech side of things. So when you're talking about policy creation, even forming your own strategy, AI can actually help you to speed that up quite a lot as well. Like I said before, I am seeing a lot of people as well still just saying, I've tried a little bit in my business, it's still just not working, and concluding very quickly, AI is completely useless, it's just not a tool for me. I do really feel like this is not actually spending the time to really understand what the tool is for. It's not a human, it's not replacing a human today, it is a tool that you can use. If I grabbed 3 chainsaws and started juggling with them and lost my hand, I could conclude that chainsaws are no good. If I chop down a tree with it, I'd be like, yeah, all right, I get it. This is actually a useful tool. So, by integrating those AI services or AI into our services, we can kind of stay ahead of the curve and like just really keep up with other businesses. So something we are going to see is other businesses are going to be doing this. It is going to be making the way that they do business faster, more efficient. They will be able to deliver more quickly. So if we're not starting to think about how we integrate this stuff into our businesses now, are we actually going to be able to compete and keep up? And that is a big question that we need to answer. I really see Drupal and the open source community having a really big opportunity to thrive through this. If you see the guys from Freely Give and all of the work that they're doing on Drupal CMS and the AI initiative there, there's a lot of advantage to us actually embracing this technology and properly embedding it in what we do. So now onto some of the boring bits. Not winter, but legislation is coming. Australia's been really slow on legislation realistically, but that's probably not going to last. A lot of other jurisdictions have already moved, so particularly the EU, as you'd expect. And yes, look, the US is kind of relaxing some of the AI laws over there, but that's not going to affect, real world scenarios where AI chatbots give people bad advice and lawsuits at the conclusion out of those. So getting your compliance frameworks in place early is going to be really important. It's not as fun as writing the new app, but the policy is going to be a necessary evil. Hallucinations are real. Transparency can actually be really tricky when you're implementing AI. So you need to know, how do I actually deal with those issues in my business and in the tools that I'm actually building? So from the federal government now, we've got the 8 ethics principles already. We've got the 10 voluntary safety standards. There are some discussions about 9 of those potentially becoming mandatory safety standards at some time, potentially even this year. And there are the mandatory safety standards already for high-risk applications. So if you're not ready for the compliance side of things, you may well build something, find out that it doesn't actually comply with some of the things you need to comply with, and then you're going to be sitting there doing a whole bunch of re-engineering work that you could have avoided. So, oh, hang on, that was another one of those. Okay, so I might be telling some people how to suck some strategic eggs here, but as I said, I'm seeing a lot of people lost in hype and the fear, so kind of just focusing on some of the fundamental things of if you were going through any new business initiative, right? So assessing your current state and your capabilities and what your market opportunities are. We're not all turning into Anthropic or AI, OpenAI tomorrow. So where is your business right now in relation to AI? Are you an early adopter? Are you a laggard? And you're going to be answering these kind of questions for yourself. So be honest with yourself. Where are you, your business, your staff? And really understanding what is your starting position. And then going through and actually asking yourself, okay, well, what unique value can AI bring to my agency? Because that's actually the important question that you need to be able to answer. Then aligning that with your business priorities. So you don't want to kind of start going off on some brand new tangent that you're an AI business. So you want to have a look at what are my current business goals? How does AI actually match up with those business goals? So is that driving more innovation? Is it improving customer experience, enhancing my operational efficiency? And then mapping AI tools into those different processes so that you actually know what you're going to be doing. So yeah, for a lot of us, our business missions here are around building, well-designed and well-functioning websites. So AI goals around better CRM interfaces is probably not something that we want to do. Get that alignment early on about what is it that you are actually doing. You've only got so many resources in your business, so you want them to still be focused on delivering for your business, not just a random idea, right? So keeping on going with this point probably several times here, because AI, it's not a silver bullet. It's not actually going to fix anything for you. You need to get in there and understand what you're doing with it and how you're going to be using it. Next, setting some measurable objectives. So breaking down that vision into some actionable objectives. So if that's, objectives and key results, so OKRs or KPIs, if you use a strategy house in your business, go through and actually get some definition around those objectives and how you're going to be tracking them. Once again, just aligning that with the way that you measure and plan out strategy in your business right now today, rather than starting to think, oh, hang on, once again, this is AI, I'm going to go off on some random tangent. Align your new AI initiatives with how you measure success right now, today. Plan out your goals and then plan out your success measures, like how are you actually going to measure the success of these new objectives that you've got, because that's going to be really key to what you're doing. This is another really important one, but actually fostering an innovation culture inside your business. It's going to be the people who are actually building these new tools and integrating this new stuff into your business. The AI isn't going to do it all by itself. Like everyone here today, you're going to have staff in your business who completely believe in the hype, or they're completely lost in the fear, or somewhere in the middle. So it's going to be on kind of the leaders of your business to set what that strategy is and then start to foster and drive that culture inside your business. Okay. So now that we've kind of got some of our high-level strategy items all kind of laid out, we kind of go through and actually start making that more practical. So in this phase, you want to kind of get a clearer picture of where you currently stand. So it's taking that high-level thinking from your objectives and starting to add some more detail. So begin by really kind of going deep into assessing your AI capabilities. What are your data assets? What are your current operational processes, and how are you changing them? So this assessment is going to help you identify those key gaps and uncover those really high impact opportunities where you can really make a difference with AI. And so this is kind of really laying that foundation that you're going to springboard off from. So once you've got a solid grasp of where you are and some of those opportunities, you want to kind of start phasing those out into some actions that you're going to actually take. So, dividing those into 3 segments here of just some short-term wins. So some smaller projects that are relatively small investment, low risk, get you to actually start practicing embedding these things inside your business. So an example of this could be starting to get your dev team properly using AI-based code editors on an everyday basis. Some mid-term projects, right? So these are going to be some of your bigger initiatives that can go out on a bit of a broader scale across your business. So this is kind of really refining the approach to how you're embedding AI, scaling some of the successful pilots and integrating those into your business processes. So an example here might be building an internal chatbot that has access to your internal knowledge base to help your staff find information faster and easier. And then some of your long-term vision items. So obviously these are the bigger transformational projects that you're going to be embarking on. Are you becoming a business actually providing AI products, or is this all going to be internally focused and more around efficiency? So these are the really big, ambitious initiatives that kind of align with those longer-term strategic goals. If you have got a whole bunch of ideas using some form of matrix, doesn't need to be this one, there's a whole bunch of others online that you can look at. In this one here, it's basically how much value does this idea have for your company or your clients, and then how much effort is it going to take to actually go in and create it. Obviously, build your quick wins items up in the top there as your pilots, and as you start to feel more confident, you kind of move into those bigger strategic projects. Something really important, I think, in this phase is don't be scared to put ideas in the bin. If something is going to take a load of effort and it's not really making much difference to your business, no matter how passionate you are about it, even if it's your own idea, you need to be willing to just go, actually, you know what? I don't have enough resources in my company. It's going in the bin. Okay, so essentially now you've planned out the work. Now you've just got to work the plan. Okay, so implementing AI isn't just a technical change, as I said, it really is a people challenge, right? So you really need to ensure that the teams around you are ready to implement this change. So find the people in your business who really are your kind of change champions and provide them with those opportunities to grow. So this includes kind of targeted training and upskilling for some of those people, but really creating an environment where that implementation and that innovation is really encouraged. And effective change management obviously requires clear and consistent communication. So your staff need to see that those who are embracing the change are rewarded and have those kind of incentives to further develop what they're doing. Okay. So up above, we've kind of defined the pilots in our roadmap. So essentially, go out and build them. In your vision and objectives, you would have defined your measures. So use those measures now and actually keep track of the work that you're doing. Governance, yes, once again, the boring bit. But while your tech folks are off doing the fun building stuff, no, there's actually other people who really do love policy. Sorry. But yeah, make sure that you're actually out there and tracking and embedding the governance rules, right? So the mistakes that you can make here by providing bad governance to real customers can have real-world financial problems for you in future. So don't ignore the boring stuff and make sure you actually operationalise the governance. So it's not just about creating new policies as shelfware, it's making sure that everyone in your business understands them and that you're actually embedding those things into the things that you are building. And then start to scale. So use the measures that you had before, the things that are working, obviously scale those things up. Try to retain the ownership of those scaling up projects to the cross-functional teams you use to actually build them, so that you get that kind of ongoing interest and ownership over the things that you're building. And don't forget to go through and actually do your lessons learned processes as well, so that you learn from the things that you've already done. Okay, and then a really important one I think a lot of people forget, just like any other thing that you do, don't forget about resourcing your BAU activities, right? So the new AI toys aren't just for Christmas. The new training goals are not just once off. The new policies aren't set and forget. You actually need the time to go back and maintain all of these things. The AI space is going to be evolving quickly over the coming years. So actually planning to continuously resource and change in this space is going to be quite important. So, Salsa Digital's journey on this so far. Early on, we also kind of affected by a lot of excitement and, maybe not enough focus. And we're really tackling this now like any other new line of business, right? So if we wanted to move into building Magento sites, it wouldn't just be a random activity. If we were embedding ITIL processes across the business, once again, we'd be taking this kind of structured approach. A big thing for us, because we've got such a strong government focus, we really do need to try and avoid public LLMs as much as possible and focus on kind of self-hosting and things like that. That's not going to be the same for everyone's business, and that's why I've been saying all the way through. The important thing about this strategy is going through the process and doing the thinking for you and your business. How are you actually using these tools? Training and sharing knowledge has been really important. We've already identified some kind of change champions within the business, and providing some spaces for those people to actually, discuss those changes with people right across the business. Right now, we're kind of focusing on building some internal tools, really starting quite small at the moment. Focusing that attention mainly on the tech team and how we actually kind of integrate AI within the technology that we're building. So I'm going to flick through these slides really quick. As I said, the time was a lot shorter than I actually thought. You will have access to the slides later, and most of these are actually links that you need to read offline anyway. So we've got some readiness checklists and maturity assessment links in here that are really good to just go through to give you an understanding of some of the things you should probably be thinking about when you're looking at an AI strategy to really understand your business. When you're selecting your tools, doing a proper assessment is really good. This is actually quite a good vendor assessment tool here if folks want to use it. There's some guidance here on kind of building an AI roadmap, which is quite a handy tool as well. And then I've got some links here on kind of guidance around staff development and things you need to train your staff. Some people are interested, as I said, some people are going to be scared. Everyone's going to need some form of training. The people who are kind of hype zealots are probably going to need some compliance and transparency training and things like that. The laggards are probably going to need some training on how to properly use the tools. Once again, compliance is going to be key. I've got links in this page to all of the different compliance things that you should probably be aware of. It's really just to the front page of those things. This is government legislation here, so it can be a very deep dive if you go right into it. Okay, and then just, some more links here again. So some of the key takeaways from today. I know I've covered a lot very, very quickly. The key message I want people to take away is AI is a new tool, right? It's how you use it that actually matters. And this is on you. AI isn't going to do this for you. It's not going to implement itself. You need to take action and actually go through and figure out what am I going to do with it. So, as I've said, many businesses really getting caught up in that hype and not going through that real planning phase of understanding what action they're going to take. Success, as in with any other business, is really going to be going through that planning, aligning those AI objectives back to your business objectives so that you can actually drive some success. So if you are thinking about AI in your agency, starting with that readiness assessment is a really good place to start. And then once, we've defined your opportunities, go through and actually just get started on your pilots. So I'm getting a 5-minute wrap up here, so I'll go on to... those were... Meant to click through those as I was talking. Well done, me. Anyway, they're up there now. So, I could tell you more, but here are some quotes from some very wise men who know a lot about AI. Over to you folks for some questions. I think you were first.
Thank you. How far are you down the pathway of measuring efficiency and ROI? What sort of techniques or processes have you got in place for doing that?
To be honest, that's been really difficult. So we're focusing more on kind of qualitative assessment there. So like surveying staff before we kind of introduce something new. How are you actually implementing, or how are you doing your business right now? How long does it take? Checking if people are already using AI, and then doing assessments afterwards, and then just looking at the difference. We haven't got any really good kind of automated or quantitative measures at the moment. Yeah. Exactly. It kind of depends on how mature your measurement is of efficiency right now. So the more mature that is, the easier it is going to be for you. So yeah. So.
Yeah, do you have a problem with like people saying, "Oh, I need this tool," and you're saying, "Well, we've got a strategy around this platform." So have you actually really checked it? Because I was in one organisation where I had a conversation with a large organisation with one of the splash it's not here, and they said there was a guy going, "We can't just keep buying subscriptions for everyone just because they've learned a new thing that they can do on the next AI tool. We need to actually mature around one platform." So are you balancing that? Are you trying to mature around one platform where you're kind of getting it right and going, actually, we don't know what it means anymore, let's just switch it out?
So at the moment, for dev tooling, we are kind of focusing on Cursor a lot at the moment, but not then preventing people from using other things. But Cursor is basically a re-roll of VS Code. So it's a code editor with a chat agent built in. Yeah, so actually using a range depending on what activity people are doing. So what we've been focusing on is actually getting really good Confluence docs around. Here are some good ways to set up your initial rules. This is how you operate with it when you're asking these questions. Maybe use, Claude 3.7 thinking if you're asking for architecture. If you're going to ask for code, use Claude Sonnet 3.5 and providing more direct guidance. Because I think you need to give people the training on exactly how to use the tool, which you can't really do if you've got a really broad spread. But then, as I said, we have other people.
Expensive if you've got licenses for every platform for every person.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think you're not going to see the efficiencies out of it as well.
I think that would be allowed because you're paying for tokens, not for...
Yeah, and with Cursor you can actually hook that up to your own APIs and stuff as well if you want to, so yeah. Other questions? Guy?
Clients for the lack of transparency using your own LLM. How can you trust it and manage the risk around what is going to produce next on public facing chatbot? Some tool where you're certain of what it's going to produce.
Okay, so that question was around how do you actually manage transparency or compliance and transparency, essentially. I would say it is actually really difficult, but you can actually control when you're using different models how creative that model gets. And I think this is where you're seeing a lot of people move to more multi-agent systems. So instead of trying to say, I'm relying solely on ChatGPT to give me the end-to-end answer for a problem, you're going to see a chain of agents where your initial question might actually go to ChatGPT, and then you'll have a secondary agent that's there that is not going to be very creative, and it's going to go back to source data and check the answer that came out of agent one and say, is this actually accurate and honest? Depending on the results you get, you might actually have 2, 3 agents going through doing some editing and verification. But you can actually do that in your instruction sets as well, right? So in the base instruction, you can say, do not give me anything that you have just created. Go back and make sure that you have actually verified that links exist, that the things you were saying are based on documents that we have and those kind of activities. So it's tricky, but it's completely possible, and I think you're seeing that coming out of some of the multimodal or multi-agent systems that are getting built now as well. Other questions?
One more around training and compliance with teams. We have a safe, responsible use AI policy. We do training, we do onboarding, but continually see people kind of tripping up and making mistakes. I'm wondering how you would handle ongoing kind of knowledge building around safety.
So I think this is why I kind of kept reiterating that AI is just another tool, because I think you'll find the same thing with your cyber education. You're going to find the same thing with your HR rules and policies around your business. It's just another tool in your business. There are going to be people who read the policy, understand it, comply with it on day one. There are going to be people who fail. So you do the same thing you would do with every other policy. You probably redo your annual training. If people are repeat offenders, you go back and you have a conversation with them and remind them how to do things. I don't think there's any kind of silver bullet around compliance. It's the same old way. People have been doing it for a long time. Yeah. All right.
Thanks very much, Kurt. Thank you.